Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea and welcome to another match preview. Chelsea are away to Legia Warsawa this Thursday in the quarter-finals, first leg of the UEFA Conference League. And in today's video, we're going to go over our predicted Chelsea 11. Enzo Maresca made some really wild choices at the Brentford game for the lineup about resting certain players and rotating certain players. So it makes for a very interesting predicted lineup in this video. In the context of Chelsea's season, this is one of our biggest games because it's the only chance of silverware this season. We have to go through, we have to get the job done. And in my opinion, Enzo Maresca has backed himself into a corner with the decisions he made against Brentford. So we need to come out the blocks on Thursday night and absolutely end this game so the second leg can be a walk in the park. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. So let's get into this Chelsea starting 11 where Maresca has seemingly backed himself into a corner. Now when it comes to the goalkeeping scenario, I mean, we seem to switch Sanchez and Jorgensen around when it comes to competitions quite a bit. However, I can see Jorgensen starting in goal in the Conference League. I think it just makes sense purely because, you know, Sanchez is now Chelsea's #1 goalkeeper again. As I say, it just keeps switching between the two. Sanchez has played well in the last few games, to be fair. A couple of clean sheets, good saves here and there. Obviously some mistakes against Brentford, as you kind of expect on a weekly basis with Sanchez. But Jorgensen, I think, will be the go-to goalkeeper in the Conference League, especially for the first leg. Unless anything horrendous happens, I can't see that changing at all. And I feel a lot more confident with Jorgensen at the back, especially distribution-wise. So yeah, we'll go with that. Left back, it has to be Cucurella. Has to be Cucurella because Enzo Maresca rested him against Brentford. So it has to be Cucurella. He played 10 minutes. And yes, I am fully aware that Cucurella does need rest. I'm not saying that he doesn't. He plays a lot of minutes. It just made no sense to rest him against Brentford when we could have rested him in this game. It's a too late game. So I don't understand how much damage he thinks Legia Warsawa can do to us in one leg that we can't repair or fix in the second leg. And that's no disrespect to the opposition. You know, they're going to come at us. This is a big game for them as well as it is for us in this season, you know, within context. But I don't know. You backed yourself into a corner a bit, Maresca. So when it comes to the centre-back pairing, I believe it will be Levi Colwill. And I'm actually going to go with a bit of a curveball and go with Badiashile because he's not played in a while. Actually, no, I think Badiashile's injured. Do you know what? Forget that. We're not going Badiashile. We're going Tosin. We're going Tosin. And I know that Chalobah has been unbelievable and Colwill and Chalobah have been really good together. However, I feel like he's going to rest Chalobah for the Ipswich game. That's my opinion. He's making some weird choices, weird decisions. So I feel like it could be Colwill and Cucurella because he's rested those players. He kind of has to play them now because that's what the Chelsea fans are expecting, myself included. You rested the big guns. You now got to play them against Legia Warsawa. So let's see what happens. You played Tosin and Chalobah. I think they had a relatively good game. They were very solid. Didn't really have too much to do. It was quite a boring game in that sense in terms of chance creation, etc. for both teams. Brentford did create a few chances where they could have scored, actually, to be fair, later on in the game. But overall, solid pairing. So I'm going to go with Colwill and Tosin. I feel like Chalobah will be rested for the Ipswich game. And you'll probably see Colwill play against Ipswich as well. We could see Badiashile, but again, at the same time, the reason I wanted to take that back is two left-footed centre-backs. Probably not going to go with that option. And there's no way he's going to rest Colwill for this leg as well, play Badiashile. Or is he? Enzo Maresca makes some wild decisions with these lineups. So we could actually see Badiashile and Tosin or Badiashile and Chalobah really mix things up. But I'm going to go with Colwill and Tosin. Right back, I'm going to go... Well, we played Reece James and Gusto. And he's always said that Reece James isn't a 2-game-a-week player. They want to make sure he's safe, make sure he's fit. So I'm actually going to go with Gusto. We could see Ashimpong play. I would love to see Ashimpong play, if I'm being brutally honest. But again, Enzo Maresca with these weird lineups, I feel like we're probably going to see Gusto right back, preserve Reece for a little bit. Maybe see Reece come on as and when needed, or Ashimpong as and when needed. So we're going to go with Gusto right back. Or do I want to go Ashimpong? I really can't decide between the two. I'd like to see Ashimpong start. I really, really would. Because Gusto and James both played. And if we're going on his theory of resting players for bigger games, etc., it kind of makes sense to have Ashimpong. I'm going to go with Gusto. I'm going to stick with that. The two holding midfielders. This is where this whole front end of this team is going to get a bit... It's where I get a bit confused because of the whole rotation and the resting of players. So I suppose you have to play Caicedo. We have no one else that can play. Yes, you could put KDH there. I really wasn't impressed with him against Brentford. He played okay in that first half, but nowhere near the standards that we need, and I don't want him as a 6. Then we're going to go Enzo Fernandez because these two together, mate, they've been playing so well. This partnership is really starting to flourish. And again, if he wants to go big guns full games like this, he's going to have to play full strength. Now, when it comes to the left wing position, we could play Nkunku out there. I don't want to see him put a Chelsea shirt on again. As much as I used to love Nkunku, especially when we signed him and he's had his string of injuries, etc. This season has been the season where I'm just like, I'm done with you, Nkunku. You are lazy. You don't create any chances for yourself. You don't help yourself. It looks like you don't want to help the team. I'm done. So I don't want to see Nkunku put a Chelsea shirt on. I don't want him at left wing. I don't want him in as a 10. I definitely don't want him as a 9. On the left wing, I'm going to go with Tyreek George because we haven't seen him in a little while. And I really like Tyreek George. Really like him. And I can never find him on here. Tyreek George is an absolute baller. And Tyreek George is a baller. We don't see enough of him. And Conference League is where he's kind of come out of his shell, really showcased his talents. He's played in a few other competitions too, but I really like Tyreek George. You could play Pedro Neto, you could play Jadon Sancho. But again, I mean, he's rested Neto. I feel like he might play him on the right-hand side. Whether or not Noni Madueke is ready, I just think it's time to give George some time. Give him some minutes, see how he gets on. This is the competition where, you're going to develop your skills. It's European football. Get minutes under your belt. Showcase what you can do. I'd really like to see Tyreek George start. And again, if he is needed to come off a rotation, you could put Pedro Neto. You could put Jadon Sancho on there if you still want to give them minutes. But to start, give Tyreek George the minutes. In that number 10, it's going to have to be Palmer. You've rested him now. You've put yourself into a corner, as I keep saying, Maresca. Has to be Palmer. Palmer has to start on that 10. Hopefully, if he does play this game and plays from the off, let's hope he can get a goal or an assist and really boost his confidence. We're seeing the better side of Palmer now, and I feel like a lot of that is because players like Noni Madueke and Nicholas Jackson are back in the starting lineup. So, going to go with Palmer. I want to see him get a goal. I want to see him get assist. I want to see Palmer have a crazy game. That's what I really want to see. Get him back to his best just before this mad run-in we have to the end of the season. Then we move on to the right wing. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to go with Pedro Neto. I believe that if you're going to manage Noni's minutes and you want to do this weird rotation thing at the most random of times, you started Noni, you gave him a half against Brentford. I feel like he couldn't do much because the rest of the team, especially when you've got someone like Nkunku up front with you, KDH and Sancho, like the safest players and the players that aren't Chelsea standard, what can you do? So I feel like you're going to rest Noni, maybe bring him on the second half. Maybe push Neto across to the left-hand side, bring on Noni on the right, or maybe just rest him for the Ipswich game. I'm going to go with Pedro Neto on the right. Noni Madueke is by far our best winger. He's the most direct, always looking to create something, always looking to score a goal, take a shot on, just do something, And Neto and Sancho are they're the safest attackers ever. They don't try and beat their man. They don't try and get in behind. Neto does from time to time, but then he gets into space and then stops and cuts back, and it really irritates me. I don't understand why he does it. But I have a feeling that Maresca will start Neto. Like I said, drop Noni, just rest him for a bit, bring him on in the second half, manage his minutes a bit, and then hopefully by the Ipswich game, he can just start, play the full 90. You don't want to rush these players back. But again, like I keep saying, Maresca's put himself into a hole now because if you're going to start Palmer and you're going to play, play Cucurella, Colwell. We've got a game at the weekend against Ipswich. They're going to play again, and it's a short turnaround. So potentially Palmer starts and Neto start and then they come off in the second half. I don't know. I just don't want to see KDH in that team, really. I just don't think he's good enough. And then when you go for the number 9 role, we definitely don't want Nkunku. Guiu, I believe, is still injured, or if he isn't injured, he's still not match fit for a 90. So we're going with Nicholas Jackson, which will be very interesting because I don't believe we've seen him in this competition yet. I could be wrong. He might have played one game or made a cameo appearance. But again, if Jackson's playing, I want him on the score sheet. I want to raise his confidence. I want to boost his confidence as well. Get him back scoring goals and creating goals. His link-up play is great. Like, when he came on against Brentford, he completely changed the dynamic of the game. Like, you can just tell, like, he is so integral to Enzo Maresca's system. Jackson, Palmer, Madueke, Cucurella, obviously Caicedo and Enzo, like, they are just becoming fundamental parts of Enzo Maresca's system. I think George does very well. He's very direct, likes to get in behind, showcase what he can do, try and get some shot off, or at least try and create something. Hopefully now just doesn't go backwards. Enzo's having some great game time this season. He's playing the best football he's played in a Chelsea shirt, and Caicedo's just Caicedo. So, like, I feel that's a very, very strong team for the opponents we're facing. No disrespect to them. That's the starting 11 I would go with, and I feel very confident that we can get the result. So that's my predicted Chelsea 11 to face Legia Warsaw in the first leg of the UEFA Conference League quarterfinals. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this lineup. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. I love having a conversation with you guys. Do you think Enzo Maresca has backed himself into a corner with the decisions he made against Brentford? Or do you think it's just smart man management? Again, interested to hear your thoughts. Now, if you haven't made it this far to the end of the video and you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, there'll be a thumbnail that appears on the screen. So make sure you give that a click because you'll enjoy that video too.